Just have a question about the mask mandate that's on BC Ferries. What happens if we can't wear them? Like, I have a medical condition which basically triggers additional medical issues when I have to wear these for even 30 seconds. And if I have to wear it for 2 hours and I pass out and smash my head on the side of a wall or on the ground or take somebody out and I'm injured and even seriously injured, who's liable for that?
So if you have a medical condition, you are an exception to the rule. It's up to terminal discretion. So if you have a doctor's note or, a medication provided, that would be helpful, but it's not mandatory. It is up to terminal discretion. But if you do have a medical condition, you are an exception to the rule. And as well, you can stay inside your vehicle throughout the entire duration if you're on the top deck. So I suggest to be there around an hour prior to make that inquiry.
Okay, but you are aware that it's illegal for anybody to ask for one person's medical condition, right? That those are charter rights and freedoms violations.
You can just, one of the questions, sir, you can make that the inquiry at the terminal. You can tell them that you do have a medical condition and just simply leave it at that. No further description needs to be made. There's no specific identification that needs to be shown. Just make that inquiry at the terminal that you do have medical conditions, and no further details would go along, and make that inquiry at the terminal.
Okay, so now in the event that I have to use a bathroom, then what?
So if a crew member approaches you, asking you to wear a face mask, you would simply say, you have a medical condition.
Okay.
Inhibiting you to wear a face mask.
Okay. Now, the other thing is where is BC Ferries getting their information from regarding any peer-reviewed evidence or studies on face masks? Because I've been looking around. I've contacted my local health authority. I've contacted the BC CDC and also Health BC asking for peer-reviewed studies on both healthy populations wearing masks and healthy populations having to practice social distancing, and there is nothing. So basically, there's a lot of evidence out there which shows the negative health effects of wearing masks, and there's no actual peer-reviewed science which is basically supporting this. And there are a lot of doctors and scientists, like epidemiologists and stuff like that, like world-renowned ones, which are now coming forward about this. And my concern, aside from me, is, you see, it's frustrating when I look at it, because I know a lot. There's like close to 87 different types of exemptions which can preclude you from wearing a mask, but a lot of people don't know them. And it's actually up. If you guys are going to have a mandate, you also have to look at all the negative health consequences, because there's a massive libel suit which can be nailed against any business or any corporation which doesn't do their full due diligence on this, just blindly following what the health authorities tell us without actually investigating it. The ignorance of the fact is no excuse. So my issue is, like, if you have cancer, diabetes, kidney issues, any heart disease, any respiratory diseases at all, even if you have PTSD, if you have autism, any autoimmune disorder, COPD, et cetera, it takes what they said from a study that I read from a German epidemiologist. Basically said that something that you did 20 years ago can have effect on you, present day, but that's for certain circumstances. But for children and stuff to be wearing them as well, it's actually creating more of an issue. I've got a friend who's an occupational health and safety expert, and has been for a while, and he's trained hospital staff how to don and dock masks and stuff like this, and when and where and why to use them. And there's been the excuse that comes in, surgeons use them if you don't you want your surgeon to wear a mask? It was, well, that's a completely different kind of scenario, because in a surgical suite, it's a controlled environment where the temperature is lower, and there's just a lot more oxygen being pushed in, and they also have better filtration systems. Like if BC Ferries really wanted to take a proactive approach to this, they would be having like what we call human safe UVC sanitation systems, which are in place. So, for example, you can get them at Costco, for example, not Costco, but Home Depot. They're like little plug-in wall things, and what they do is essentially sterilize it, but you can keep it on. For the industrial ones, there's a problem because once you turn them off, you have to open up windows and let fresh air flow through for 45 minutes to an hour, so you're not getting into the ozone or whatever of the other issues are coming through that. So I'm really concerned not only for my own safety, but I'm more concerned about for people who don't really look at all the science and then just put one of these things on and then they're touching their faces and stuff. And the science has also proven that if you have a mask on and you're constantly touching your face and you're around people who are exposed with whatever virus or germs there may be, it's actually sticking on these masks. So you're touching them, you get in your eyes. Eye infections are now increasing. There's a lot of different things which are increasing because of masks. In fact, even the CDC a month and a half ago, I think it was, had done a recent study where 70.6% of people who always wore masks had a higher chance of getting sick compared to people who never wore masks, which was like 3.9%. And even that number has been also questioned. So then if you go to frequently wearing masks, it's like 14% or 16%. So you've got now 84 or 86% of people who wear masks on a regular basis are the ones who are actually getting sick because we're not able to, or they are not able to kind of breathe out their CO2 or breathe in fresh oxygen, stuff like this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's highly concerning that a Crown corporation is not doing their full investigation. Now, I know you guys don't have bioscientists on board, and that's fine, but it is okay to question any narratives which are coming down because, as I said, these are public policy advisories. They're not law, for example. So in the legalese sense, nobody can tell another person, if it's not law, what to do. And so it's creating this massive divide and conquer kind of situation towards people, which is, in essence, not really that fair because everybody's trying to live. Everybody's trying to do their own things. Like for decades, we've always, if we're sick, we stay home. That's a common thing. But now they're assuming that healthy people are sick. And the asymptomatic study has now been disproven, as well as the droplet study. So,
okay. Yeah,
so
I do understand. So I would suggest you send a response to customer.relations@bcferries.com regarding your viewpoint on the mask-wearing situation.
Well,
and again, if you do have medical conditions, you are exempt from wearing a mask.
Yep. But here's another thing too, is this isn't my perception. I'm basing this on actual sound scientists. Like I have, of the thousands of friends that I have.
And I do understand you have, many references that you are providing, and I do understand that. I don't have, of course I can't speak on the matter. It's not my position to make in a statement on the matter at this time.
So who are the people who...
suggest you make a response to customer.relations.
I got the email address.
bcferries.com.
Okay, so just as because I am exempt, I do not have to provide any information to show that I am exempt, and I won't have to wear it, but I still have to stay in my car. So if I'm in the lower deck, for example, which was banned months ago, even pre-COVID, we weren't allowed to be in the lower deck of the ferry because of whatever the ruling was, right? So if this is now since changed, and if I am in the lower deck, I can stay in my car without a mask, or any car deck, basically.
If you are on the lower car deck, you cannot stay inside your vehicle throughout the entire duration.
Okay.
If you are on the upper vehicle deck, you can stay in your vehicle. So I suggest you would get to the terminal around an hour prior to departure to make that inquiry with the ticket agent at the terminal.
Okay. Okay, well, thanks very much for your help. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Okay.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. And there you have it. Please share. Please listen. Please act accordingly. Take off the fucking mask.